Hey boys and girls, today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020. As you can see, we're in Mrs. Smith's kitchen again, so we'll get to that in just one moment, but let's first go over today's assignments. So today you're going to need to reread the passage titled Pigs, the Perfect Pets, and answer the comprehension questions. I am going to pull that up for you just one moment. So here's Pigs, the Perfect Pets. And if you come down here to our first question, it says, based on the article, what is the meaning of the word destructive? So if you come back up, destructive is this word in bold, okay? And it says it's important to train your pig and teach it good manners. An untrained pig can be destructive and break things. If you remember in the beginning of the school year, boys and girls, we talked about how sometimes we can figure out the meaning of a word by using the word and. So destructive and break things. What do you think destructive means if they're using it with the word and break things? Okay, so there's that. Number 2, how can you prevent a pig from being destructive? So make sure you go back to that same passage and read or paragraph and read it carefully, and you'll find that answer. According to the third paragraph, which of the following is not a way pigs are like dogs? You're looking for which one of these choices is not how pigs are like dogs. You don't want to say how pigs are like dogs. You want to find the one that shows they are not like dogs. And the last question, many people believe pigs are dirty. What is the point of view of the author? So be looking in that passage, boys and girls, for keywords that the author uses to describe pigs. Is the author saying that pigs are dirty, or is the author saying they're not so bad after all? So those are the things you'll have to look out for today. Now, going back to here, it says complete your 10 minutes of iReady reading. Don't forget to read to self for 20 minutes and fill out that stop and jot form. Complete your next lesson on Zearn. You should be finishing up lesson 22 today. Practice your multiplication facts on extramath.org and complete 10 minutes of iReady Math. If you also notice down here, boys and girls, it says my office hours today are from 1 to 3. They had to be changed. If any of you are picking up your belongings today, I'm going to try to get down to school, so hopefully I can see some of your smiling faces when you pick up your things today. Okay, so that's why those office hours are changed. Now, I told you we would be working on some fractions with number lines today. So here I have drawn myself a number line. Okay, no, I didn't label it yet. There's no numbers. There are arrows in both directions because a number line goes on and on forever and ever. Okay, now I have this whole candy bar, and I'm going to split it up into what I'm going to call is thirds, meaning what, boys and girls? Thirds would mean how many chunks am I going to split this one whole candy bar into? Did you guess 3? You betcha. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so if I'm splitting it into thirds, my number line, now remember, I'm still talking about one whole. So with whole numbers, I'm going to have one end that's 0 and one end of my number line that's 1. So now it's going to look something like this, 0 and 1. I hope you can see that, boys and girls. Now, because I took my whole and I split it into thirds, or 3 pieces, I'm going to draw 2 lines that are roughly the same in size between 0 and 1. You always want a line less than the total number of parts. So if you have 3 total parts, and I can't hold up 3 because I only have 2 hands right now, but if I have 3 total parts, I'm only going to draw 2 lines in between the 0 and the 1 to give me those 3 total parts. So it'll look something like that. Okay? All right. Now, when I label, of course, at 0, how many thirds do I have? If I don't have a candy bar, I have 0. That means I have 0 thirds. So I labeled that above my number line. Okay? At the next line, I'm going to have 1 third because I now have 1 piece. Therefore, I have 1 third. And then I have 2 thirds. When I have 2 pieces. And when I have a whole, I have 3/3. I have all 3 pieces of my candy bar, which means I have 1 whole. When the numerator, the top number, is the same as the denominator, the bottom number, it means you always have 1 whole. I could have 5/5 and it would be 1 whole. 10/10 would be 1 whole. 12/12 would be 1 whole. Whenever the numerator is the same as the number on the bottom, the denominator, you always have 1 whole. Okay, so now if Mrs. Smith said she ate 1/3, I would put a point, or sometimes they call it a plot, on 1/3. So I'd go ahead. And what's that showing you is that I had 0/3, I hadn't ate any, and now I just ate 1 whole piece. And Stella would love it if I let her eat one, but chocolate's not good for doggies. Okay, so that means I have 2/3, 1, 2 left of my whole to eat yet. Okay, now let's do it with something different. Here I have an apple. Would you say this is 1 whole apple? Okay, let Mrs. Smith cut it. Have you ever seen one of these? It's an apple slicer, boys and girls. Let me cut it. And together, there we go. You're going to see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm getting used to this whole 8 Zoom or computer thing, I think, video thing. So I have 8 total pieces. So here's my number line. How am I going to divide that number line up, boys and girls? I'm going to have how many pieces? Did you guess 8? If you guessed 8, you're right. So if I'm doing 8 pieces, how many lines am I going to draw? Remember, 1 less line than the number of pieces or parts I have. What's one number less than 8? Did you guess 7? If you did, you're correct. So go ahead and draw 7 lines. Now try to get them equally spaced apart. Do the best you can. So here are my 7 lines, and if you count, I should have, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 total pieces for my 8 slices of apple, just by drawing 7 lines. Okay. Now, if I labeled it, what would my number line start at, boys and girls? It would start at 0, and 1. Now the 0 and 1 line, boys and girls, that represent your wholes, they don't count in the number of lines that you create for your number of slices. So when you draw 7 lines, your 0 and 1 line should already be there. Okay, 0 and 1. Now, you can go ahead and label it. At 0, I would have 0 eighths. The next line over, I would have 1 eighth. It's just like counting. 2 eighths. The only thing is you're adding that denominator, but that denominator is going to stay the same because you still have 8 slices until you eat some. And when you get to 1 whole, you should have 8 eighths, the same numerator, the same denominator. If you don't have the same numerator and denominator but 1 whole, then you've done something wrong. That's a good way to check your work. Okay. Now say I ate a slice, and Stella, here's Stella, Stella eats a slice. And here comes Stella. It didn't take her long to find that apple. How many slices of my apple did I just eat? I ate 2 out of 8 pieces. So you put a point on 2 eighths. And I'll show you my little frog hops, as I call them, over to 2 eighths. Okay, boys and girls? You see how that works? How many slices does Mrs. Smith have left? Well, if I count, right, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 eighths left over. Do I have 6 slices? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So that's just a little bit of fractions on the number line. I get it. They're pretty tricky. We'll keep working on them. And of course, in 4th grade, you'll do a lot more with fractions on a number line. But I just wanted to give you a little hands-on. Feel free to try that experiment at home. Grab an apple, slice it up into 8 slices, or grab a candy bar and split it up in a different way and see if you can do that too. Okay? Thanks, boys and girls. I hope you have a terrific Tuesday. Maybe I'll see some of you this morning. If not, tune back in tomorrow. Bye.